Hey, I'm Chad, and if you're like me, remote ID has got you looking at the need to either upgrade to a new drone or to put a remote ID module on it. My current drone and everything that I've had so far has been DJI. This is the DJI Zoom, Mavic 2 Zoom. I've had it for almost 2 years as of today's date. It's a great drone. I like the camera, but it's not remote ID compliant, and it probably never will be. At least right now it's not. So the option is to get rid of this drone, stop flying it, or just turn it into a hobby in the FRIA zones, or to put an external module on it. So it got me to thinking, what else is out there? So I started looking around at the Autels, because Autel has the EVO Lite Plus, and it's already remote ID compliant. I started doing some research on it, looking at the reviews on it, and everybody talked about how great this camera is, especially in low light. So it got me to looking around, and I found this one used, very lightly used. He said he flew it maybe twice and decided it was more drone than he needed, so he stuck with the Nano that he had. So I picked this up, great deal. And really, comparison, they're about the same size, they're about the same weight, they're very similar as far as their build. Now, of course, this has a 25-ish minute per charge flight. This is pushing 40 minutes. Remote ID compliant already. But the cameras are what I want to talk about today, because the zoom on this has been a great drone. It handles really well. It's very smooth. You can get very smooth shots out of it. But having that optical zoom, I've always liked that. It's my go-to drone. This camera, however, when you look at the ability and what it can do in low light and what it can do at night, my goodness, this is now becoming my favorite drone, especially for night photos, night videos. Here's the comparison. This first video is the Mavic 2 Zoom, and it is setting at 6400 ISO, 30 frames per second, so I'm not even following the phase rule, but running at 30 frames per second, and this is as good as it's going to get. But you can see the grain, the noise. It's okay, but it's not great compared to this. My goodness, what a difference. Now this is also 6400, but the camera has an adjustable aperture, so it's set as wide open as it'll get, f-stop 2.8, 6400 ISO, and running 30 frames per second. Night and day difference. Well, night and night difference. Now this is in the night shot mode, so this is just what it does. It's doing whatever the algorithm is to clean that image up even more. Looks great. Now the problem with, if you're just shooting in shoot mode, you're limited on to how high that ISO can run. When you put it over in night mode, it's going to run that ISO up even higher. But man, it's a great image. It looks clean. There's just no comparison between the two, really. It's a great camera. Now, one thing that I do like about the Mavic Zoom is that it's a zoom. It's got an optical lens, so you can zoom in, and this is what it looks like at night. I'm not going to talk about it during the day, because really during the day, this is a great drone. That zoom is super fun to have. I really don't care about shooting wide open apertures when I'm shooting from a drone, because I'm not trying to get depth of field. I just want to see what it looks like from the air. But having that optical zoom lens, I love it. It's a great drone, except with optical zoom, when you zoom in, you're reducing the amount of light that's getting to that sensor, so it's going to struggle even more in the dark, as you can see here. Now when I shot this, I decided, hey, I'm going to put the Autel up in the same area, at the same height, pretty close, and I'm going to shoot. And this is the Autel at 2x digital zoom, and it is still an amazing image. Comparison, it's hard to compare them, because it just looks so much better, so much cleaner, even at 2x. Now I went ahead and ran it all the way up to 4x here, and you can see that, yeah, now we're starting to get a little grainy, but that's because of the digital zoom. It's not because of the sensor struggling to get light. It's just that digital zoom. That's just part of, digital zoom issues. But my goodness, for night photography, for night video, this is it. This is the guy to go to. Of course, you have to add a strobe to it and make sure you're staying FAA compliant. So these are shot under Part 107. Everything was by the book. Nobody's underneath me. It's clear. We're good to go. I'm not in restricted airspace. This is a great drone. My only complaint so far as the performance between these, this is a smooth flying drone. When you want to get those slow pans and be able to really tweak that yaw and get it to where it just looks smooth, this guy is far superior. It's DJI. What can I say? They fly really, really well. It's fast, it's responsive. When you get off the stick and you want to stop, it'll stop. This does not stop near as fast, and really that yaw is just jerky. I've been playing with the settings in the remote, trying to run that EXP setting to where you can get a little smoother, and you can, and I've got it slowed way down, especially in the smooth mode, to try to get that smooth, but it's just not quite there. So hopefully, if they come up with an update, it'll be great to really smooth the flight on this. That just doesn't feel as stable. But those images, this is a still image taken in just its regular night mode, so it's saving it as a JPEG. It does not do RAW when you shoot in night mode, but if you switch over to regular shoot mode, then you can run your settings and set them similar to the night mode, and you can capture in RAW. I shoot everything in RAW. I like to bring it into Lightroom, do the cleanup myself. So this is RAW, this is post in Lightroom. Now I did have to take some of the yellow and push it a little more towards green, because the color on this drone not as great as I would like for it to be. A lot of people have complained about it's not 10-bit, it's 8-bit. It is what it is. But for night photography, for night videos, this is the one to go to.